Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some very important updates when it comes to the major hardware flaws that the PlayStation 5 was discovered as of having. Same with the PlayStation 4 issues as well. Basically, we found a very bad PlayStation 5 hardware issue that could essentially go and cause your PlayStation 5 to stop functioning in the future. But now we've actually had more people have more time to look into the issue, especially because it was such a big viral discussion for the past few days. We even made a video on it yesterday if you guys saw that. So I wanted to go give you guys all the updates on this stuff because I don't want to make one video being like, oh my god, this really bad thing's going on, and then never go and give you guys the next update. So I'm gonna go talk about that throughout this video. If you guys want to as well, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below because there's a few little baby pieces of information that kind of actually maybe will go and segregate some of the gaming community. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below as we go through the video. If any of you guys are brand new and you guys like Sony news or restock news or whatever, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, or be subscribed for the PS5 giveaway. Like the video itself, especially because this is some good news. So thank God that this is actually good news and not gonna be breaking our consoles as bad as we thought it'd be. Also, we have the Twitter and Twitch stream, link down below. The Weeble, happy Doge Day. So if you guys want to go buy some Doge, I believe Weeble is adding Doge support. If you guys go and deposit $100 in your Weeble account, you guys go get free stock. And as well, Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go and get free Bitcoin. And also the Amazon links down below to go check for the PS5s. So as I mentioned, we had this major issue with the CMOS battery. And basically, if you guys missed those previous videos, the CMOS battery is basically the internal battery in your console, your PS4, PS5, PS3, etc. And whenever that battery is gone, it essentially renders your console useless. You can't go and play games. You any downloaded games, you guys can't even access it. And there's just a lot of issues that kind of go in time on end when it comes to this. So ever since this issue came to light around 2 days ago, we've had people had more time to look into it. And we actually have some very good PlayStation 5 news when it does come to their CMOS battery. There is still a few negative things that we'll go touch on and address, and also kind of touch on what happens in the way long-term future as well. So let's go dive into this actual talk about this. We're going to use an article and reference it as well for a lot of our information. So let's go dive on into it. So this video over here from Tom's Guy with the PS5 battery failure issue exposed. What do you need to know? And basically this was, as I mentioned, a big CMOS issue that's in the PS4 and PS5, but thankfully with the PS5, it's slightly not as bad as we would go and expect. So it does go and actually have confirmation that the PS5 does have the same CMOS battery issue that we covered on the channel yesterday. So to remind you guys, it's kind of not too good. The issue is tied to the built-in CMOS battery, which maintains the system clock when the PS5 is disconnected. If this battery runs out of power, then the console won't be able to maintain the internal time in the actual console itself. This is only an issue if the console is unable to ping Sony's servers. So this is kind of a big thing. So, but also kind of goes and ties back to the PlayStation news we talked on before, where if Sony ever goes and gets rid of the PlayStation 5 servers or PS4 servers in the future, which is actually kind of likely because they did want to get rid of all the PS3, PSP, PS Vita servers, though thankfully they did go bring that back. We covered on that news yesterday, but there's always a chance that Sony just kind of completely wipes out the servers. So if your CMOS battery is also destroyed or runs out of like life when your PS5 and Sony does not have any servers, you actually could have some potential issues in the long run. But for those who have a constant internet connection, then it shouldn't be a problem. So basically, let's go and say 10 years from now, you still have an Ethernet cord in your PS5 with the CMOS battery still, even if it's like completely gone, you would still be fine because it's mainly just trying to go check the internal time, basically so you don't like hack or mess around with the internal systems. But also kind of the major note, if Sony were to shut down the PS5 servers 10 to 20 years from now, then games might find that their systems are nothing more than large paperweights. Which news like this is not what I want to hear. Like for me, who actually is a big game collector, I still have my GameCube, my N64, and all of that. I want to be able to go play my games 50 years from now, as long as I can like repair stuff, or if I had to change batteries, I get that, but I want to be able to go play it. I don't think online should be a major like issue with that. So we actually do have some updates over here, especially from Does It Play, who has been a very big major focal point for this issue. So no battery does last forever, and that's the case with the CMOS battery inside the PS5. While the average CMOS battery can last anywhere from 10 to 20 years, when used for maintaining time, it can vary. So basically 10 to 20 years is pretty long, and also you can replace these two as well, so it's not the end of the world. Even the PS4 and PS5 owners should not worry. At the moment, though, PS2 and PS3 CMOS batteries are winding up dead. So it's kind of weird that this article is like, hey, you shouldn't worry, but literally the last generation of consoles are already kind of winding up and dying. from the CMOS issues. So I would say if you have a PS4, I'd be somewhat worried if PS3s are already kind of becoming obsolete and you can't even play games on it, especially with Sony trying their best to go and cut off the actual online servers, even though they are returning them, but they still wanted to, which is just really, really not good. The upshot of this, though, is if you want to play digital games downloaded from the Sony PS5 store, then you must have either a working clock or an internet connection. So basically, you can still play without an internet connection as long as it's downloading with your CMOS still working. But if they're both not there, then it's bad. But realistically, with Ethernet cables and stuff like that, readily available internet, even on Wi-Fi, it should ideally be fine. The PS5 has now been tested with a limited selection of games on a single PS5 by Does It Play. On Twitter, they've confirmed that a version of the PS4 issues still there, so it's still kind of bad news, but although disc-based games would sometimes play fine. So realistically, I do believe most disc games are mostly okay. Digital downloads have the issues, whether if you don't have the internet connection or the CMOS battery, or if the CMOS battery dies. So the next major thing to go talk about is on what happens if the battery does die. For the time being, not much as long as your PS4 can connect to the internet, which is okay. But once again, what if they try to go shut down the PS4 servers in 5-10 years from now? When the CMOS clock is wiped, the console must connect to Sony servers before you can play any digital games. So once again, that kind of leads into the major issue, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. That's kind of lame, at least to me. Like, I want to hear your thoughts. Because if I buy a game, I understand I'm not physically buying the game. I'm more so buying the licensing rights to play the game itself. But that still kind of bothers me because I can go and spend $70 on a game and then maybe 5 years from now, I can't play it, depending on Sony's whim. I'm not a big fan of that. I actually am more of a big fan of having a physical copy of my game, whether it's like for collecting or just for using. And I'm not really the biggest fan of Sony having control, or even the same thing with Microsoft, their other computer games as well, having direct control on the licensing that I spent money on, because they could always revoke it or maybe have issues with the store. We even saw recently GTA and Rockstar actually removed a lot of their games from Valve, aka Steam. And that could also lead to issues if you bought GTA there, and maybe in the future you may not be able to go play or re-download the games. So how long does the battery last, and can I replace it? The CR2032 that Sony uses in the PS5 will last somewhere between 10 and 20 years, which is kind of a broad range. It's not that bad, but these button cells tend to do a good job of staying charged when not in use. If your PS5 is plugged into the wall, then your battery won't be doing much. If you unplug the cable and put the PS5 into a cupboard, then it will slowly discharge as it maintains the PS5 settings. So basically, if you guys want to be crazy and put it in a cabinet, you guys can, and can mess around with it. You also can apparently go and replace the CMOS batteries, but it's now with also taking your PS5 completely apart. And basically, I'm sure unless you guys kind of know what's going on, I myself, I do a lot of Sony videos, PlayStation videos. I would have no idea what to do. I've even built my own computer as well. So ideally, if you're going to replace the battery, you'd have it done by an approved repair shop that's confident in getting the console back together. But there also are plenty of tutorials on YouTube. And also, next major issue too as well. What's the problem if it can connect to the internet? The biggest problem will come when Sony starts to shut off its servers, as I was talking about before, as I was planning on doing with the PS3 and PS Vita before changing course. We touched on that before. Although it's important to separate the issue here, Sony was planning on shutting down purchasing power for customers, not their servers completely. But realistically, if they shut down and make the money on it, then in like 2 years later, they'd probably shut it down fully. So not too good. But at least as long as the servers are up, they can play on your PS5. And then why does my PS5 need to know the time? DRM, or digital rights management, is used to protect copyrights on digital media. Technologies like DRM require internet connections to ensure a person is playing a legitimate piece of media. Because Sony wraps the PS5 games in this protective bubble to prevent theft, the system needs to know the time or it upsets the DRM and it locks you out of the game. So basically just trying to go prevent people from stealing games or hacking games, sharing games illegally, etc. It also is possible that Sony could, if it wanted to, send a final patch out to consoles when it's going to stop supporting them that would remove all these restrictions, which I'd be okay with too as well. Like if someone out there is playing on their PS3 and it's been this many years and they want to keep on playing it, I think they should be able to, whether it's for collecting or all the games they've bought themselves, the discs as well. I'd be kind of nice if Sony would let them go and do that, at least in my opinion, because what's going to really kind of affect that market at that point when it's like 15 years old, at least in my opinion. That would also mean that any games on your console would continue to work with or without the internet, but would Sony do that? Unlikely? Yeah, probably not. And there's also the trophy syncing too as well, which can maybe have issues for long-term people. And we do know we have a lot of trophy hunters in the community as well, trying to go get as many games as they can, all the platinums they can. So it could also have issues with them syncing with the Sony servers, and you need to have your CMOS battery to be alive to go and get it. and basically the trophies don't properly sync, the games will keep on running into errors, and basically the big argument, which I'd want to hear your thoughts on too as well down below, is that many people want their current consoles to be like the NES, which you can plug in and use right now, myself included. I am on this. I don't like the idea that companies, even not even just Sony, Microsoft, Steam, EA, whatever it is, Ubisoft Plus, whatever it is, I don't like the idea that they are in control of my games that I spent money on. And that's why I usually like more so disc and also my old school game styles as well, like my N64, GameCube, etc. So I do kind of agree. I do think a lot of this stuff, especially that we've been seeing all this news with the PlayStation 3 issues, Vita issues, etc. A lot of these games are kind of at the whim of major companies, and I'm not really a big fan of that. I really don't like the idea that they can shut down games that I have bought and spent my hard-earned money on, or some of your money that you guys have spent. But overall, I think most of the time, if they do that, it's like 15 years down the road, so it really shouldn't be affecting anyone on current gen with PS4 and PS5 too much. But I would love to hear your thoughts on all this down below, because it's a very interesting issue. Thankfully, though, the CMOS issue is not as bad as we expected, and as well, thankfully, we don't have to go worry too much about, well, all these issues for at least quite some time, like another 5+ years, if that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. It is kind of nice that it's not as bad as we were expecting, and I did feel like I wanted to go share an update on this video as well, because in the previous video, I was like doom and gloom a little bit. It's still kind of doomy, and it's also very still true. Just want to give you guys more updated information as we got it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, or comment down below your thoughts. Make sure you guys are subscribed for the PS5 giveaway, or make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc and digital, the Twitter and Twitch stream link down below if you guys want to follow, and of course, sign up for Weeble if you guys want to get some Dogecoin for Dogecoin Day, or deposit $100 and you'll get free stock. Link down below, or Coinbase itself. You guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency, you guys go and get free Bitcoin. Love you guys all so much. I'll see you guys up on the next video.